Everyone to our Springfield Township Board of Trustees. Today is May the 12th, 2015. Mr. Bernie, roll call, please.
Yes, Ms. McFarland. Mr. Bernie?
Present.
Mr. Honolaw?
Present.
Ms. McFarland?
Present.
All the trustees are present.
And Mr. Heimholt, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands,
one
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have minutes that need to be approved from March the 24th, 2015, public hearing and a regular work session. Need a motion?
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. And Mr. Burning, can you give us a fiscal report or financial report, please?
Yes, I can, Ms. McFarland. For the month ending March 31st, 2015, the township expenditures were $1,770,140.22, and receipts were $957,525. The ending cash balance of $18,230,105.78 includes obligations, expenditures, payroll, regular operating costs, ongoing capital improvement projects, and investments. I request a motion from the board to approve receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures, updated and current revenues and reports for the period ending 4/30/2015. Do I have that motion?
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, and I just want to let everyone know that financial reports are available for viewing at the administration offices weekdays during our regular business hours. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next, we're going to have our departmental action and discussion items. Our Township Administrator, Mr. Henningcamp.
Thank you, Ms. McFarland. A couple of action items tonight. First is, I know we discussed at our work session last month, passed out a copy of a draft of a township finance policy. I know the board's had an opportunity to review it, and as I said at the work session, this is really more of a collection of current practices that we have adopted individually over the years, and wanted to just get those into one place. So in a lot of cases, this really isn't things that we're not currently doing. It's pretty much 95% things that we have or currently have done, as I said, because of individually adopted policies, and we just wanted to bring them into one place. So if there's no questions of the board, just looking for a motion from the board to adopt our township financial policy.
So moved. Seconded.
I just want to say I reviewed the policy, and it is very concrete and comprehensive, and it's in compliance from what I can determine with all types of, financial reports and pieces, policies. So it's a good policy.
It's everything we do with,
Yes,
that applies to the laws of Ohio.
yes, you're absolutely correct.
We have a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item is to propose to the board, due to some scheduling conflicts that we've got coming up, at our next township regular work session meeting, which is May the 26th, that's a regular date, that we amend the time. That meeting has been scheduled for 4:30 p.m. I would propose that that particular meeting be changed. That meeting date time would be at 8 a.m. on that date. And really just have a fairly light agenda plan, but we do plan to award sidewalk bids. There's a bid opening, I believe, when, John, the 19th? Yes. On May the 19th, we're hopeful that we'll have that ready for the board's review and potential award on the 26th. So that's kind of the timely issue, but move that from 4:30 to 8. And there'll be some miscellaneous updates, and we may have some nuisance resolutions, as we typically do, and surplus property on vehicles possibly at that meeting. But see that as a fairly brief agenda, but look for a motion from the board to reschedule that time from 4:30 PM to 8 AM.
So moved. Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is moved.
Under discussion items, we have personnel report tonight, which I think is a milestone in a lot of different ways. Something we talked about a little bit in our last meeting, but this is the final meeting for Police Chief Dave Heimpolt. Dave and I were talking today, and we did some quick math, and I don't think either one of us were mathematicians, but we came up to somewhere in the neighborhood of, he's probably had about 750 township trustee meetings.
Oh,
So
my
we're,
goodness.
we're in the final one, and for those that don't know, Dave will be retiring. His last day at the township will be May the 29th. And just kind of hit some of the highlights, which we really didn't do. Dave spent almost 21 years, or actually a little longer than 21 years, as the police chief, total of 40 years with the township, started his career in 1975, that has close to 46 years of law enforcement experience, started actually with the city of Cincinnati, and then spent some time as a police officer in Miami, Florida, early in his career. Dave has been, I think, in every rank position that we've had, came up through the ranks, as patrol officer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, assistant chief, all the way through. Dave is a member, is an FBI, a graduate of the FBI Academy of the 133rd session. He is a graduate of the Police Executive Leadership College, as well as in 1996, Dave became the first police chief in Hamilton County and one of just 20 in the state of Ohio that graduated from the Ohio Police Chief Certified Law Enforcement Executive Program. Dave has served, I think, in every capacity in the Hamilton County Police Chiefs Association, including president. So he's had a long and very illustrative career. I think the growth of the department in the many, many programs, from the Explorers Post that we started to the fact that we became first a nationally accredited agency, and then most recently with our last reaccreditation, we were accredited with excellence, which puts us as just one of the few departments in the state of Ohio to have that, and one of probably just a few in the country. So again, we'll recognize Dave, I think, as we mentioned, even more so later this month in his retirement dinner. But this is a momentous occasion with the last of his meeting. And then wanted to also announce as part of that, which we mentioned just briefly, is that I have appointed Assistant Chief Rob Browder will become the police chief, also on May the 29th. And it's amazing in looking at Assistant Chief Browder's resume and his accomplishments during his career, how he's followed a similar path as Chief Heimpolt. Rob is coming up on 26 years in a couple months, so just shy of 26 years with the township. And similarly, Rob has come up through the ranks. So we hired Rob as a patrol officer in 1989, became a detective in 1997, a sergeant in 2000, a lieutenant in 2003, and then was appointed as assistant chief in 2005, in September 2005. Rob also is a graduate of the FBI Academy, class 227. We won't do the quick math there, a few sessions in between Chief Heimpolt and Chief Leininger. But Rob is also a graduate of PELC, which is the Police Executive Leadership College, as well as the Ohio Police Chiefs Certified Law Enforcement Executive Program. So we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to be able to appoint somebody from within the ranks. That's always a goal, I know, of the board, and something that we've worked really, really hard with our succession planning. And on May 29th, Assistant Chief Browder will be succeeding Chief Heimpolt in that capacity, and hopefully we won't miss a beat. And I think that's a credit to the job that Dave's done over the years, in the training and bringing his folks on, and what our plan is all about in the department is to try to keep this within so that we're not missing a beat, and that we do have a strong succession plan. So, again, more to come on that. What maybe we weren't so ready for, but a little premature, and this also fit and is completely consistent with our succession plans, is in our service department. In our plans and what we've worked really hard for is the same type of thing to make sure that when our service director, John Musselman, decided that he was going to move on, we had a plan in place, and we've worked very hard on that over the last 2 years. But John has recently announced that he has accepted another position, and that he wants, even though we had talked about his retirement in the next year and a half, John's decided that he does want to continue to work. He thinks this is a good time to move on, and so he has elected to do that. And John's last day, coincidentally, will also be May the 29th as well. So it's really a bittersweet moment, I think, from the township. But when you look at it, I think it's, we're losing 68 years of experience. John's been with the township for about 27 and a half years. 22 of those years as, we used to call the position road superintendent. We retitled it, but essentially the same position. So road superintendent, service director for 22 years. And just the changes that we've seen under John's leadership and direction in the service department have been equally outstanding for what we've seen in our police department, and just the whole modernization of that department. I think the expanded role and some of the things that the service department has taken on over the years, a lot more functions in parks and right-of-way maintenance, some of the state right-of-way that we maintain to bring it up to a higher standard. The level of service as far as snow removal has been expanded greatly, and just the impact that we've had with SCIP projects over the years, the success that we've had in that grant process has been outstanding. John's just a very quiet, solid performer, very consistent, very loyal to the township, and has done a great job with the leadership. And so certainly going to be missed, but we will have the best wishes for John and his new endeavor. He will be moving to Miami Township, Claremont County, in a similar role in that capacity at the end of this month, but he will remain available to the township through an agreement that we have in his contract to be available to us for consultation, primarily for SCIP-related activities as we go through this year's SCIP application process. So certainly best wishes to John on that. And similarly, I have appointed Mike Gould. Mike was appointed as the interim assistant service director back the first of this year, so we were certainly anticipating this. As I said, maybe a year earlier than what we originally anticipated, but I have all the confidence in the world that Mike, through John's leadership and training with Mike, is ready to assume this capacity. Mike's no newcomer to the township as well. He was hired. He's been with us nearly 15 years. He advanced to the crew leader position in 2010, and then, as I mentioned earlier this year, we appointed him as the interim assistant. So Mike, effective on May the 29th, will assume the role of service director for the township. So two big sort of changes in the township after many years of having the same department head leadership team. We're seeing half of that team go on the same date, but I think we've got two solid individuals that we've been grooming for a long time, and looking forward to continuing in that capacity.
It's awesome. Wish you the best, all of you.
Did want to go on with the rest of the personnel update. Did accept the resignation of Jacob Milner. Jacob was a part-time EMT firefighter. The effective date of his resignation was April the 20th. Also accepted the resignation of David Lucan, who was also a part-time EMT firefighter. The effective date of his resignation was April the 27th. In the police department, Mike Webb, long-term police officer, did retire. The effective date of Mike's retirement is May 1st, 2015. I accepted the resignation of Christina Pfaffinger, who is a full-time dispatcher with the department. Effective date of her resignation is May the 8th, 2015. In our senior and community center, we did add Karen Hinkle as a part-time bartender. Karen's date of employment is May the 5th, 2015. In our service department, we did promote Brennan Watson from part-time to a full-time laborer. Brennan's date of promotion is effective May the 11th, 2015. We did make 2 seasonal hires. Luke Richards is a seasonal laborer beginning on April the 21st, 2015. Jacob Ungenbuehler as a seasonal laborer on May the 6th, 2015, and did accept the resignation of, Jerry Brinkman as a part-time laborer, and the effective date of that was May the 1st, 2015. So a lot of activity in the personnel update. Got a little bit of good news, although this is not, I guess, 100% official, but we did get some of the preliminaries on the salt bids, and I'm happy to report that while they are at least a little more than what they were last year, they weren't quite the ceiling that we were anticipated. Right now, assuming that these bids, and these are all still subject to the director's approval, is we're looking at $70.41 per ton. So this represents, if this price holds, this represents probably about a $60,000 savings for what we budgeted this year in our tournament appropriations, which is, it's not great news, but it's certainly, better than what it could have been. And we're hopeful that price stands. Last year, we were at 66.41. So. So that's even, it's a reduction from what it was in our winter refill, which was the back half of last year's contract, but not what it was on the summer.
Right.
So
About how many tons do we need to
about
replenish?
2,000, I think, is what we have budgeted.
Okay.
And then just want to mention also at our work session, we had talked about a policy dealing with trees in the right-of-way, specifically dead trees in the right-of-way. As the board's well aware, we've got the ash tree is, something that we've been preparing for a number of years, and it's coming to a fact where those trees are rapidly dying, trees in the right-of-way that have become a hazard, and wanted to clarify what our policy was. We had hoped to have that ready for the agenda on this meeting. Unfortunately, we're still doing a little bit of research and preparing that, so at this point, I think that's most likely going to be a June item.
Okay.
But we are making progress on that issue and continuing to do the research. One thing we did ascertain is, just doing a recount on the number, we're talking probably right around 400 trees in the right-of-way that are ash trees. We're also seeing some sugar maples that are experiencing some distress as well. But primarily they're ash trees that are either dead or, in the short term, they're going to be dead.
Wow.
They're dying. So yeah, they've been hit pretty hard.
And Mike, I think we've had some discussions. We have probably, or maybe John would know, we have a large number in our parks,
About the same number.
about 400 more.
So in total, it's about 800.
Yeah.
Close.
Almost another 400 that are in county right of way in the township, so all total in Springfield Township is nearly 1,200 ash trees. The ash trees, it's just a question of when, the sooner or later they're all down.
And I think the issue that obviously the concern is the cost. I mean, you're
Right.
looking in some cases, we have the ability to take these trees down, with our equipment and with our guys, but in many cases, these are large trees that are too big for our capabilities. And so you're, probably looking at, on average, $1,000 per tree to have that removed. Some obviously bigger, are going to be more, and some not quite as big, maybe slightly less, but probably average, you're probably thinking right around that $1,000 cost. So,
I've already taken a bunch out of my
Yeah,
backyard,
I mean,
and I
you do
still have
math,
another
it's a-
one this year there.
it's an enormous
It's expensive.
liability for the township, so.
Right, and includes grinding down the trunks and everything.
In
Is
some
that-
cases, in some
yeah.
cases, not in the right of way, just getting basically the hazards, the big issue, so that you don't, where you've got a tree in the right of way, you're trying to avoid a fall hazard. Whether it falls into the street, blocks the street, falls on a car, falls on, a pedestrian or
person,
somebody else.
right.
As we've seen, and, we've seen that in the city of Cincinnati, had a fatal situation where a tree fell on someone and killed them.
And let me tell you, the way this wind has been blowing the last 24 to 48 hours, it doesn't take much, and the ground is already wet for one of them just to fall over.
Well, the other issue we have is you can't wait too long either, because they become, they get
Brittle.
They become brittle, and you make it even more difficult to take down, because if it needs to be climbed, if it's in an area where you can't get a bucket truck to it, and it's going to require, sometimes they can't even get up in the tree to take it down because it's hollowed out. So, anyway, something that we'll have in front of the board for next meeting. I know the board has copies of the departmental activity reports. I don't have any comment on those unless there's any questions. That's all I have.
Yes. Well, we're going to move on to our resolutions. Resolution number 26, 2015, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory action necessary to abate the nuisances.
So moved.
Seconded?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next resolution is number 27, 2014, establishing assessment for abatement of nuisance and certifying the same to the Hamilton County Auditor. Need a motion?
So moved.
Seconded?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Resolution number 28, 2015, objecting to the renewal of a liquor permit issued to W&W Entertainment, LLC, DBA Chasers Bar and Nightclub, and authorizing the Township Law Director to take action necessary to pursue objection pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Section 4303.271. Need a motion?
So moved.
Seconded?
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Mr. Honalaw?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
I just have a question. Is that bar still open?
It is not currently operating.
We don't want it to reopen.
We have information that another lessee has taken over the spot, but they're not in yet. We also don't have a ruling on our prior objection. We went to hearing, on 2 occasions it was continued, so we don't have a decision on that. So
Okay.
we put forth this resolution in an abundance of caution, because if we do not do it by June 1st, I believe, we lose the ability to do it for this calendar year. So
Okay.
we may be withdrawing this, depending on, obviously, if they lose their renewal from our last objection, then this would not be
Okay.
useful. So we may withdraw this later, but we want to make sure it's there if we
Better to
need it.
have it than not, and need it. And
Absolutely.
not needed than
We'll
needed,
lose the
not
right for
have
a
it.
whole year.
Right.
That's a long time for this bar.
Okay.
And I'd just like to comment on this. Laura has done an excellent job. This place was, as the police officers have, testified and spoken at our hearings, was just out of control and a real blight on the neighborhood. And Laura has gone above and beyond in presenting the evidence, and just, it was kind of an overwhelming avalanche of evidence. From what I have heard at the hearing before the Ohio Liquor Commission, as to all the, the multitude of ways in which they violated just about every rule and regulation of the Ohio Department of Liquor Control there ever was. So she did a great job on this.
Thank you. I mean, the officers did a great job. We really, it's a 5-inch binder.
I can believe
I
that.
didn't even know that binder existed. It is hard to lug that binder around, but, and Chris Gilbert helped with some we have some really large exhibits that were helpful. So I think our first date, I think we didn't have a chance of winning it. Our second one, I think we convinced him, so.
I'm just glad that we've gotten to this point, and hopefully and prayerfully, we can close them down because of the high risk of fatalities, and they already had some issues there anyway, life-threatening issues, including one life-threatening position one of our own officers was put into. So it definitely was a hazard to the community and the neighborhood, and I just want to commend all of you all for the great work that you did to get us to this point today.
A very high standard, I just hope.
Yes.
Almost impossible to reach, but we knew that, so when you know that, you go in with everything you got, and that's what we did, so, thank you.
Thank you. Resolution number 29, 2015, objecting to the renewal of a liquor permit issued to Ladies and Gentlemen Sports Bar, LLC, DBA Ladies and Gentlemen Sports Bar, first floor and patio, and authorizing the Township Law Director to take action necessary to pursue objection pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 4303.271. Need a motion.
So moved.
Seconded.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Ms. McFarland?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Okay. Next on our agenda is old business. Anyone have any old business?
I do not.
No, I do not.
And I do not at this point. New business.
I do not.
Okay. Okay, at this point, we're going to recognize our chief. There has been some state and also local elected officials that have sent down some nice thoughts and words for our chief. So Dave, if you can come up here and we'll meet you down on the floor. I'll start first. And Dave, this is from our Ohio State House of Representatives, under the sponsorship of Representative Alicia Reese, House District 33. On behalf of the members of the House of Representatives of the 131st General Assembly of Ohio, we are pleased to pay tribute to you, Dave Heinhold, on behalf of your services to the Springfield Township Police Department. For 46 years, you have served with genuine distinction in the field of law enforcement, characterized by integrity, courage, and composure, even under the most trying circumstances. Your illustrious career has been a model of professional department worthy of widespread emulation. Your impressive ability to remain calm under pressure has averted many a tragic outcome. And your confident, reassuring leadership will be sorely missed by your many friends in the Springfield Township Police Department. At a time when many people are content to take a passive role in life, you have chosen a vocation through which you often risk your own safety to ensure the well-being of your fellow citizens. The devotion to duty that you have shown in all your endeavors has earned you the enduring praise and respect of the people you have labored so diligently to keep safe and secure. And we applaud you for your exemplary efforts. Thus, with great satisfaction, we commend you on your retirement and wish you health and happiness in the years to come. State Representative Alicia Reese, House District 33, and Clifford A. Rosenberger, Speaker of the Ohio House of Representatives. Congratulations.
Next, I have a thing here from our United States Senator Rob Portman. Dear Chief Heinpold, congratulations on your retirement after over 40 years of outstanding service to the Springfield Township Police Department. I applaud your exceptional career and your dedication to the community. You can be proud of this achievement. Best wishes for your retirement years. Sincerely, Rob Portman.
And Dave, last but not least,
we have a proclamation here from the General Assembly of the State of Ohio, the Ohio Senate, and it's honoring Chief David Heimpold on your retirement. And it says, on behalf of the members of the Senate of the 131st General Assembly of Ohio, we are pleased to extend special recognition to David Heimpold on your retirement from the Springfield Township Police Department. Throughout your career in law enforcement, you have demonstrated an unwavering commitment to fulfilling your responsibilities with the utmost efficiency and competence. Starting as a cadet with the Cincinnati Police Department, you joined the Springfield Township Police Department in 1975, and you were promoted to sergeant in 1976, lieutenant in 1978, captain in 1982, assistant chief in 1987, and chief in 1994. To your credit, you were responsible for the creation of the Law Enforcement Explorer Program, the Citizens Police Academy, the Kids Police Academy, school resource officers. During your tenure, you graduated from the Police Executive Leadership College and the FBI National Academy, and you have distinguished yourself as a capable leader, a skilled administrator, and an exemplary individual who is committed to upholding the law and maintaining the safety of all citizens. The Springfield Township Police Department has continued to gain the trust and confidence of the community through the efforts of officers such as you, who have worked diligently to protect the lives, rights, and property of area residents. The outstanding manner in which you have carried out your many obligations is deserving of high praise, as well as the gratitude and respect of your fellow officers and the citizens you have so capably served. Thus, it is with sincere pleasure that we congratulate you on your record of service and extend best wishes for ongoing success. And it's Senator Keith Faber, President of the Ohio Senate, Senator William Seitz, 8th Senatorial District, and Senator Cecil Thomas from the 9th Senatorial District. So, Dave, on that long one there.
It is my friend Chris Monzel, our county commissioner. Chris?
Chief, thank you. That's great. I appreciate the opportunity. So, but Chief, from a personal standpoint, the reason why I really want to come out here was I just wanted to thank you, as my 3 children go to school in the district down here at St. Vivian's, and you provided protection to them and all the school children in the area. So I just wanted to come out and personally give a proclamation from the Hamilton County Board of County Commissioners for your service to the community for so many years. For all the great things. There's a lot of warehouse statements here, which I won't go through, but just it's a testament to what you've given to the community here, and we're so grateful for you. So myself, Commissioner Fortune, Commissioner Hartman, just want to say thank you and for all the service time.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Would you like to say anything, Vinny?
I appreciate it. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with the police department. Over the years, the elected officials have been extremely supportive of not only myself, but the police department. Our administrator, assistant administrator, and my good friend, the lawyer, who always kept me out of trouble. Has been, it's helped us grow to where we're at. And I think our organization is one we can be totally proud of. I think, we're turning it over to great leadership. And, our organization is one that's well recognized in the state. And I really appreciate this. Thank you very much.
I think the most important thing, in addition to the board and the other people in the township, I think the people that appreciate you the most, Chief, were the residents. And that's the most important thing. I think sometimes we talk about the support from here and there, but I think the residents probably, I talked to many residents that are very, very happy to have the police department that we have in the township. So you should be proud of that.
Okay. Now we come to the part for citizens' participation. And as always, I'm asking for anyone that has something that they'd like to share with us, if you would step to the podium, as well as then indicate who you are, your name and your address. And also, I'm requesting that anyone in the audience abstain from any talking or discussion so that we may hear completely what our resident is sharing with us all. So is there anyone that would like to address the trustees this evening?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's Joe, and this is my wife, May Rivers. We reside at 2068 Blue Hill Drive, Seven Hills. And I haven't been in for a while. We came in quite a bit last year, but I was pretty pleased with what some of the problems we had fixed. Did a pretty good job on, answering some of the problems. But however, we still got a few we need to work on. And the roads are in terrible shape. And I know what we talked about last year, the road problem. But if they can just maybe fix some of the potholes and get the gravel up, And one real bad area is 2056 Blue Hill. It's like a mountain of gravel. And it's a series of potholes right along them two houses right there. And when they come and fix the potholes, they don't get the gravel up. And what happened when cars go past, the rocks fly and they crack windshields. I don't replace mine, my neighbor's. Two of her windshields was cracked from flying rocks. And we got a problem with some of the neighbors not cutting the grass. And last year that wasn't too bad of a problem. We kind of stayed on top of it in some of the nuisance houses. And Blue Hill and Roosevelt got a real bad problem of speeders. Running up and down the street, like doing 50, 60 miles an hour, and you got kids out there playing and everything else. But other than that, I think you guys did a pretty good job, on answering complaints. So that's all I had to say.
Joe, one thing that we do need to tell you is that Blue Hills Drive is scheduled to be repaved this year. So the whole
Really?
street is going to be repaved. We have community block grant dollars that we were able to secure, and so your street is going to be repaved.
All right, that sounds good.
So,
And the other concerns regarding the loose gravel and et cetera, Mr. Musselman, can you,
well, that'll go away when they.
well, that's true.
That'll
If
go
you can
away
bear
when
with it until they repave
That'll
it,
be gone
right.
before June.
But can they sweep up, or can you clean up any loose stuff?
Well, we got a contract out now for contract sweepers coming to the entire township.
Okay.
Did you hear that, the week of May 18th?
That's next week.
18.
Yeah.
Now, are we writing out letters to the people that don't cut their lawns?
Just went through a whole list to
All
have
the
to cut them.
Especially the house on the corner of Roosevelt and Spruce Hill. It's an empty house, but the grass already is about 18 inches long. And other than that, and blowing trash out.
That'd be
through the neighborhood.
10818 Spruce Hill.
Yeah, that's it.
That's,
Mhm.
we just had a resolution to take care of that
Okay then.
tonight.
Oh, really?
Passed,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's in the resolution, first resolution we passed tonight.
Okay.
So
But
that'll be approved.
I commend you on doing a pretty good job. That's probably why we didn't set too much in after the last year, because all the complaints, it seemed like they was being answered.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
Okay.
Joe.
Joe, what was your last name?
Rivers?
Rivers, thank you.
Okay.
Is there anyone? Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
First off, I'd like to just thank everybody. Me and my neighbors, we all enjoy living where we are, and everything seems to be pretty great. We all live up Hootapole Lane.
Can I ask your name, please?
Stephanie Holloway.
Stephanie, okay. Holloway?
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you.
And your address?
Mine's 1633 Brightview Drive.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's
Brent-
okay.
What is it, Brent?
Brightview Drive.
Right, I know it, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Got to take notes, it takes me a minute.
That's okay. We had circulated a petition because there's one access drive that comes into our entire neighborhood, and that's up Hudepohl Lane. It's an incline, and as you come up the incline, that part of the road definitely needs repair. It has had some pothole repair, but as you're coming up, I mean, several people have damage to their cars. I know a lot of people actually drive up the downside, so because it's actually a nicer, there's fewer potholes, the gravel, whatever. So I don't know if we are slated for repair, but we did turn in a petition. This is just a copy of it. There are about 150 signatures, plus the golf course employees who also drive up and down that on a daily basis as well. And we just, again, would like to have that part of the street repaired.
You want to talk about it?
Yes.
I can address it, or one of you?
Whoever,
Go
Gwen,
ahead.
we have the
We
petition right here,
petition.
just so you know.
And I want to thank you for that. And, you know, we know that all of our streets, the majority of our streets in our township are in need of some work done. And we are really working diligently on trying to come up with a resolution. There is absolutely no way that we can pave every street in the township that's in poor condition. But we can try to do the best that we can to the ones that we can, you know, improve on. Now, I know there's some work being done over in the Lexington Heights community. And John, can you tell me, give me an update on that?
Well,
Even though Lexington Heights is,
It's not,
It's
again,
not in your-
we're not connected to the.
that's right, but
But he-
th-
let
there
him
may
answer
be,
first.
there may be an answer.
Okay.
Well, Lexington Heights, the only thing remaining over there is they're adjusting manholes and they got the final overlay on. I'm trying to work something out with the contractor where they can, when they come back to Lexington Heights to put the cap on those streets, we can get them over the Huey pole and at least get the hill taken care of.
Part of the, but not the whole Hudepohl, just going up the hill.
It's just the on-ramp, basically, as you're coming up, there's maybe about 5 or 6 houses. If you look at the back of the petition, there's actually a section of the road.
Right.
It's not the entire, it's just that uphill, because when
Right.
you're going up the hill, if you were to have a mechanical failure, or if you were to be in the oncoming lane, because you don't want to avoid, you know, you're trying to avoid the potholes, there could be a collision, and anything that happens on that hill, because of the incline, it's possibility of
It's
ending
a-
back up on Hamilton Road.
Stephanie, what we're saying is we're going to try to tie in, I know that's not connected, but we're going to try to fix exactly what you're talking about when they finish Lexington Heights. And if, you know, keep in touch with us and let us know, you know, John, or Mike will let us know, you know, exactly when it gets done or whatever. But, you know, we're going to try to work that out to fix that problem. We are aware.
Yeah, this
Thank you
was
so
an
much.
issue that John actually came to me, I don't know, John, 2-3 weeks ago, before we got the petition. He had talked about maybe the residual of some of that project and using it, similar to what the county did on Winton Road, where they had some residual overflow, and so they patched what they could up in the north section, and that's a similar concept of what we're gonna try to get done, at least for that hill. So hopefully sooner than later. You know, John, I don't know, they're thinking time frame in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, perfect, thank you so much.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Okay,
Yeah.
so do we need to,
Yeah, I did mention it earlier in my report, but I will have, do need to request that the board go into executive session, and that would be for the purpose of discussing the purchase of property.
okay. Okay, so we need to go in executive session. And I'd just like to thank everyone for coming this evening and participating, and also being a part of this special recognition of our great chief of police. And we are now going to adjourn this meeting, but we're going to go into executive session.
Are we going to adjourn this?
Motion.
Need a motion?
But
We
we're
need a
ne-
motion. I'll so move that we adjourn the public portion of the meeting and go into executive session for the discussion of the purchase of property.
Seconded?
Mr. Burning?
Aye.
Mr. Harloff?
Aye.
Mr. McFarland?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you for
Meeting's
sharing
closed.
this great evening with us.